Hello, my sweet fitness friends. Just wanted to check in with you about what's going on. I know it's been a while since I've talked to you and a lot has changed. And so today I'm going to update you on what's been going on. So we have been getting a ton of snow here in Bellingham, Washington. And so this is day 3 of being snowed in. It's still snowing now. Hoping that I can get back to work tomorrow because I'm going pretty crazy not working for the past few days. But can't complain. It's the sweet life of being a teacher sometimes, I guess. So let me tell you a little bit about what has been going on with my prep and I guess the lack thereof. So I have completely switched gears in terms of my prep. I basically spent about 3 to 4 weeks trying to be in a caloric deficit and started the first week of January. By the time I hit week 4, I had drastically reduced my macros and was eating probably around 1,100 calories a day and was still not seeing a drop in weight. And so this basically just let me know that my body has not recovered from basically a year of dieting. I think in totality last year, I was probably in a deficit like 90% of the year last year. And so taking 6 weeks after my show to recover just wasn't enough for my metabolism to get back to a place where it was running efficiently. So I'm basically finding that my maintenance calories are super low, which isn't good if you are trying to cut and cut healthy. And so I had a few friends in my life that were pretty worried about me and watching what was going on with my prep. And so thankfully they kind of stood up to me and were like, hey, you know, we know that you have it in you to get through this, but we just don't know if it's what's best for you. And so at first I was a little annoyed because it just felt like I was being ganged up on or something. And then I came to realize that no, these people are just genuinely worried about you and just really would like you to do well. And you know, once I came to the realization that they're right, I'm not going to be able to do my best if I'm starting my prep 14, 16 weeks out and 1,100 calories is my maintenance. So I started doing some research, which I would definitely highly recommend to anybody who is in this industry and wants to just improve like their overall knowledge of the subject of fitness. I feel like there's lots of different opinions out there. There's lots of different approaches that you can take. But the one that I consistently go back to over and over again is a science-based approach because it makes sense to me. I used to study biochemistry. I thought I wanted to be a biochemist when I was in college. And so there's something about that approach that just connects with who I am, like my core values. So as I mentioned in a previous prep vlog, I wanted to learn about macro dieting. I've always been on a meal plan based approach to prepping. And so this time I wanted to try out doing a macro based diet, which when you're doing a macro based diet, it's really a more scientific process in terms of how you're cutting, how you're leaning out so that you're adjusting the grams of carbohydrates and fats and proteins that you're eating, which in effect is going to give you a desired result. And so the same could be true in an off season, is that you want to start with wherever your maintenance is and slowly build up so that your metabolism is continuing to increase and that you're not having issues putting on excess body fat because you're eating above your maintenance. So the research that I did with this led me to feel like I needed to get a coach to kind of guide me through this process. As I mentioned, this is my first time trying this out. And sorry, my dog is just, let me just show you here. Snoop, you're ruining the video. Bailey, come in force. Yeah. Tell him he's ruining the video. So I ended up hiring a coach out of Florida. His name is Paul Ravella. And so maybe you've seen some of his YouTube videos. He is pretty popular in the YouTube world, and I have a good friend who's also going through him for nutrition coaching. And so I thought I would just start there and try to reverse diet in a more systematic way so that I can actually build up my metabolism to a place where I would be ready to approach a cut. Okay, so the other thing I was gonna say is that I feel like the mental health aspect of approaching a competition prep is regularly left out. I feel like for the most part, a lot of people talk about the difficulty in sticking with the diet or the difficulty in the training and the difficulty maybe in their biology about, you know, how hard it is for them to put on muscle or how hard it is for them to lean bulk or to gain or whatever. But not a lot of people talk about really the mental struggles that go into competing. And so I think that this has really been my first round of having to get really honest about where I'm at in terms of how I'm thinking about myself as an athlete, maybe getting into being in a more uncomfortable position in order to grow, which I think is really hard, especially I think being challenged being a woman. I think for guys, it's really easy for them to be in this world of, oh, I'm bulking, you know, I'm putting on excess body fat, or maybe not excess body fat, but I'm gaining weight. I'm watching that scale go up every week, and in many ways, guys are proud of that. And for me as a woman, it wouldn't matter if that weight I was putting on was 100% lean mass. There's something about that scale going up that really messes with your head. And so I think I have to challenge that first and foremost so that I'm in a place where I'm ready to make growth happen. And that's really the only thing that is going to make a difference for me. I don't want to be that person that's just competing to compete and seeing how many times I can get on stage. You know, people always say the stage will always be there. It's not going anywhere. And I think I get into this mindset of if I'm prepping, I'm working for something and there's purpose. And then if I'm not in a prep, I seem to lose the purpose. I lose the goal. I lose the motivation. And so I think for me, this transition into a longer off season is going to be really good for me in terms of noticing where I'm at in this mental health place. You know, how am I picturing my body? What's my body image like? Do I feel just as good knowing that I'm building strength and that I'm not as lean as maybe I could be, but that I'm strong, you know, and that I'm healing my metabolism? What's more important, being really lean and being able to take these awesome Instagram pictures and, you know, think about how many weeks until you're stepping on stage, or being able to push heavy weight in the gym and feel really good about it? You know, it's I don't know, I just haven't been in that position where I'm lifting really heavy weight in a long time. So I'm going to insert some clips here of working with my trainer, Tony, and he makes me push really heavy weight. And yesterday I actually got to the place where I was crying in the middle of a workout. And that's never happened to me. I've never been that person who feels like, oh, I can't do it. You know, I feel like I've always approached working out with this athlete mindset and felt really competent in the gym. So for the first time in a really long time, he's challenging just my own opinions and beliefs about myself as an athlete. He's getting me to lift heavy because he knows that I can. And I think it's really funny that other people know that I can do this and I don't believe in myself, you know? So I guess these last couple weeks, as hard as it's been to kind of make this transition from being in this prep world and having 14 weeks to shred out and knowing that I was gonna do this show and having the reservation at the hotel, to a complete 180 of hey, I need to push back a show at least 12 weeks. So, you know, the next show that I'm even thinking about doing, and actually this is it's interesting because as I've taken a step back from doing like a local NPC show, I've raised the bar and I've said to myself, okay, if I'm taking this longer time, if I'm really working on building, if I'm really working on taking a structured off season and growing my metabolism, I have the ability to compete in a national show. And so when I reached out to Paul, I just, sent him some of my stage pictures and was like, hey, I qualified for nationals. I know that I have no expectations to place, but it's something that I'd like to do. What do you think? And he was like, hey, yeah, you've got a great physique. We've got something to work with here and you belong up there. And I think that hearing that from someone else really gave me the confidence of like, hey, this is a possibility for me. Not saying that I'm going to be ready in 25 weeks, which is what I think it is out from right now. But, the reality is that if I do this right, if I'm calculated in how I'm approaching and going about this prep, and I'm taking care of myself and really getting my head in a positive place so that I'm able to approach this the best that I can with the best people beside me, helping guide me through this, I have the ability to be better than I have ever been. Versus if I'm that person that's like, oh, I'm going to be shredded all the time. I'm going to step on stage as many times as possible. I'm just going to get up there over and over and over again. I'm just going to look the same every time, So it's like, do I want to do that? Or do I, someone has said to me too, they were like, Sarah, if you want to look like you've never looked, you have to do things you've never done, right? So like in every other off season that I've had, it's either I'm in prep or I'm not. So having a structured off season, or at least like 12 weeks to really focus on my goals, focus on what I'm trying to do with food, focus on having healthy relationships with other people in my world, with the gym, with food, all of these things I feel like is going to completely change me. So if you started watching this vlog and you're thinking to yourself like, oh, I'm in the middle of a competition prep, and I know that it's really nice when you're watching someone else going through that too. Seriously, dog, why? But I promise you that if you want to do well in a prep, a lot of people say too, like champions are made in the off season. So I guess I'm switching gears. Now this is going to be documenting my journey through this off season and hopefully into my next prep. But you'll be able to see me go through this, and I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the growth, and I can't wait to see what this whole thing has in store. But until then, I'm getting snowed in. It's kind of nice, I'm not gonna lie. I still have been making it to the gym and mentally preparing for a really heavy lift this afternoon. So hope you all are doing well. It's good to see you all. Stay tuned for the next video. Bye. What's up, everybody? We're about to kill a leg workout with Tony. I mentioned Tony in one of my past videos, and if you're interested in looking him up, he works for Pure Fitness
Martial Arts.
Owns Pure Fitness Martial Arts here in Bellingham, so you can always check him out.
Tony Henderson.
Tony Henderson. So stay tuned for some more workout footage. We're working legs today.